Hey everyone, how's it going? Ryan here with R8D. R8D is a visual design company specializing in graphic design, branding, and illustration services. My primary goal is to provide creative tools to small business owners so they can share their story, establish meaningful relationships with their audience, and provide ongoing value to their clients. Today's topic is one that was requested from a comment on my YouTube channel. The topic is pricing, specifically as it pertains to charging clients per project versus charging based on an hourly rate. In my opinion, pricing is one of the most difficult things to determine because there is so much to consider when establishing pricing. That being said, I'm exploring different options for pricing, and my goal is to establish a package option. Right now, that is difficult because I offer a wide scope of services that I'm currently providing to various clients, and package pricing really only works when you have a well-defined scope of services and organized services. So therefore, in my case, it is very much a work in progress. There's a lot of things I'm going to need to work out. All that being said, let me share how I currently handle my pricing. I used to charge an hourly rate, but now I charge based upon each project. So I use what I've learned from charging an hourly rate as a foundation for charging the client. But I factor in time for tangibles like paid resources used in the design, like stock photography, the time it takes me to create supporting graphics and design elements for the design that will be used in the final concept. And when determining pricing, I also have to consider my overhead costs as it relates to my business. Things like the subscription software I use, Adobe Creative Cloud, to design and lay everything out. I also need to factor in time for research on some projects, most projects, because in order to accomplish the desired goal for the client, I need to be educated about the specific industry, the customer personas, and the companies that will have interactions with the final design. Once I've calculated that figure, I'll create a proposal which clearly indicates all deliverables, and I email that and a timeline, and I email that to the client. I also include a clause on my proposals because I want to protect myself from something called scope creep. Scope creep refers to changes, continuous or uncontrolled growth in a project's scope at any point after the project begins. So basically that pertains to a job you think is going to be able to be handled in 5 hours, but it ends up taking 17 hours because of multitude of revisions, requests back and forth between you and the client, that sort of thing. So here's how the clause goes on my proposals. It says, please be aware that the content on this document is subject to change based on future correspondences between R8D and client or unforeseen events. Changes or additions in work scope may result in additional charges and will require approval from client and mutual written agreement between R8D and client. Changes or additions may cause delays from the original timeline set forth on this document. So the purpose of that statement is to acknowledge the fact that things change. The project can pivot, the project can take a different direction, and as a result, you kind of want to take that into consideration and have the client understand that with those changes that occur for the project, there will be additional charges that will apply. So, because as a designer, your time is just as important as the other elements of your creativity, of your resources, and that sort of thing. So time is really important as far as factoring that in. It's also important to understand what monthly expenses are. So having clarity on my monthly expenses, both business and personal, helps me understand how many projects I need to complete on a monthly basis. My expenses, they don't have really impact on how much I charge my client per se, because I'm not going to charge my client for my groceries, and that doesn't come into play with how you factor in how you charge your client. What does come into play is how much work you need to accomplish in order to be able to pay your bills, that sort of thing. So this was a great topic, and I appreciate Shelby for bringing this up, because as I continue to offer more value to my clients, my pricing will need to reflect that. And so that this is something that is very difficult to talk about. It's very difficult to get a good handle on, especially if you're not a financial guru. But it is. I encourage all designers and all entrepreneurs out there to take an audit and understand how you're charging your clients, what you're charging them for, and is it working for you, and that sort of things. Because if you're providing constant value to your clients, you want to make sure that you're compensated for the value that you're bringing. So now I want to hear from you. How do you price your clients? What factors play into determining your pricing that we might have not covered here? Comment below, subscribe to my channel and for future videos, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.